So therefore, which brings me to, to genuinely inquire from you as to how challenging has it been to drive collaboration and perhaps enhanced measures and modes of productivity within the workforce, not just over the last 6 odd months where we've kind of been stuck at home, but also perhaps going forward. Have some learnings come in that will help us measure productivity in differential manners? Will we look at collaboration in a renewed with a renewed set of lens, perhaps? What's your view on that?
Absolutely. And here I'm maybe going to put a little contrarian view to some extent. See, collaboration is has many dimensions, right? Now, just getting on to see the very age-old form of collaboration is, of course, email collaboration slash communication. Absolutely the foundation. Today, we believe that we are collaborating well by getting on video and conference calls. But I don't actually, then that's my contrarian view. I don't think that's the answer, right? Video and conference calls are just enablers. To some extent, as we all know, they're actually a drain on productivity.
Indeed, indeed.
So I think the time has come to explore a lot more meaningful collaboration tools. I mean, let me give you very just top of the head examples. For example, using communication boards or forums, social media kind of platforms that are built for the enterprise. So it's not like you send an email, you miss a few people. I've got 100 emails today, so I don't read them. But this is much more collaborative. You use collaborative whiteboards. Yeah, you use processes and tools like Kanban boards to do project management. Now, these kind of tools, they've been around for the longest time. So nothing that I'm saying is new. But I personally feel that adoption in some markets, in some businesses, is actually very, very low, and it's below my expectation. So I think these are the kind of collaboration tools. If we start to use, then I think productivity can not only be measured because the contribution is very evident, right? It can also be, it will just improve because even if I have to work remotely, if I have all these tools, my productivity is just normally going to improve. So I think we've got to think beyond these video conferences and emails. Those are done to that, and that's not really the answer. That's my view on collaboration.
Therefore, Vikas, I must ask you is when you when well, and I'm going to ask you this question in the form of a cliche. Mm-hmm. Is we keep talking about enterprise modernization, infrastructure modernization, device modernization. What truly does modernization mean when you look at it from an entire enterprise perspective, number one? And number two, how do you truly embed modernization and the concepts of adaptability, adoption, change of mindsets into the very fabric of the enterprise, the digital enterprise perhaps? So I can see for the fact that you're at a very vantage point where you have a diverse spectrum view of organizations and functions and departments. How do you kind of see it from where you sit?
So enterprise modernization, and I will answer it with two very age-old cliche technology solutions, but to date, they are the foundation. One is cloud, the other is mobility. Okay, two very, very old terms and technologies. They are now superseded by digital transformation and similar buzzwords. But today, being on the cloud, where I literally have zero physical files on my physical computer, has made my life so seamless. Any document from anywhere.
From anywhere.
I mean, you will not believe the kind of productivity enhancement that brings about, right? So these are the kind of things. Productivity is not just automatically going to be enhanced, but you give me wherever I am, even if I'm at home, I'm outside, I'm on my phone, the same document, the same emails, the same seamless experience. So, and not to be honest, I mean, not that I'm trying to sell the cloud or anything like that. But to be honest, this is enabled by the cloud. For me, the cloud and the kind of infrastructure as a service.
Yes, where credit is due. Absolutely.
I mean, that to my mind personally, that has been the single change factor. So mobility and cloud, right? And obviously all of the supporting infrastructure needs to be in place. For example, I would say today that any enterprise apps that you may have, right? Whether it's the operations staff that looking at it, or whether it's senior management that's simply reading dashboards and reports. Yeah, make sure all of it is on the cloud and mobile enabled. At no point should you say that I need to have my laptop, I need to be on the VPN, or I need to be on the same office network. The moment you start saying that, you are building in artificial limitations.
True,
And
true.
technology is there to allow you this. Of course, security is a big concern. So
Indeed.
therefore, that's one more of the foundational areas you need to take care of. But other than that, go mobile and go on the cloud.
Very, very interesting. Because so I will come to you with an anecdotal a set of points, which in my conversations also with industry CIOs and so on and so forth. You see, once the kind of lockdown really hit us, the initial few days was essentially making sure people were portable, therefore they had the right tools on the device and so on and so forth. But then came a secondary challenge where a lot of my CIO folks that I was speaking with kind of mentioned saying, look, we've given them the laptops, but now they're saying my device is not equipped to kind of help me perform my role to the best possible extent. Uh, Obviously, given that realities were kind of very, very different, how do you kind of look at something like that? Because the audience that's sitting with us is equally very curious to understand how industry leaders such as yourselves kind of look at this possible challenge or an issue, if I may be allowed to.
So I find that a very interesting situation, and maybe my previous point, and I'm going to add a little to one more dimension to that, should address this completely, and that's my personal experience, right? So since everything I do is on the cloud, right? There's no reason for me to say my laptop is not fully equipped, because any tool that my enterprise has a license for, I have access to. Therefore, if you ask me, if at all I have a constraint, right, and some of the developments in the telecom industry are therefore, for me personally, extremely interesting. I need a super high speed internet connection, because with high bandwidth and access to all my applications on the cloud, I really don't see. And interestingly, it also removes my dependency on my device. I
Indeed.
can use my laptop. Let's say, God forbid, my laptop, stops working. I can use someone else's laptop in my family. So imagine that seamlessness. So to be very honest with you, I am not very sure why someone would have that experience unless they were extremely local and on-prem.
Perhaps.
So I don't have the software installed. I don't have, let's take Office, let's not get very sophisticated. Today, so if I work on my personal Mac, right? And I don't have the enterprise Office license on my Mac, that's on my
Admittedly, yeah.
Windows laptop, right? But Excel online, PowerPoint online, so seamless. Maybe they're slightly limited in their features. But can I say I can't do a PPT? Can I say I can't do an Excel sheet? No, I can't. So therefore, if you are in that space of having enterprise applications on the cloud, I find it really difficult to imagine where one would be constrained.